So what I'm mixing up here today is just some fish and seaweed emulsion from Nutritech Solutions called Nutri-Gold. So I'll be spraying this on pretty much all the crops at this stage, except for where the cattle are grazing. And yeah, nothing else goes in that, just that Nutri-Gold. And tomorrow I'll go back over everything and put on some liquid calcium. I don't mix the two because I'm not sure whether the calcium, the acidity of the calcium, it's a pH 5, I'm not sure whether it would affect the bugs and the microbes in the Nutri-Gold, so put them on as a separate application. Yeah, it's just waiting for this to fill up and I'll start filming again when I get to the paddock. Show you the crop. So that's where the cattle have been. Now we've got our radish, which have grown very well. Nice sized radish there. The lupins are just starting to flower. And we've got a bit of wheat that's regrown because that was the last crop that we had in here. So let's have a look down in there. There's some nice sized radish. Got a little bit of clover there. Clover's taken a very long time to grow in everything that I planted, so maybe we need to look at a different variety of clover there for the colder planting. Not sure. Have a look at the soil there, just loads of worm cast. Lots of it, so that's really good to see. Residue from the wheat's breaking down nicely, feeding all those worms. Are seeing a few slugs in here, but not terrible. Not terrible. I haven't quite decided what I'll do with this crop yet. I had decided to put this into my spring crop, but I don't think I'll get enough of a weed mat from the radish and the lupins and the small amount of wheat that's here to keep the weeds down through the crop's growing period. Because these radish tops will go to nothing. We really need a lot of high carbon material. The same goes for the lupins, that'll disappear to not much. So thought I couldn't graze it because it had lupins in it, but in what I've researched and come up with, you can graze them while they're green. It's just with the stubble you got to be careful with. It'll get the mould on it, and that's what'll give the cattle lupinosis. So, and you can graze stubble as long as they haven't had rain on it and gone mouldy. So I'm thinking I'll graze this off and then plant a quick some probably annual rye and a couple other things in it for grazing. So I'll graze it off, I'll put another lot in it to graze again. I can't graze this yet because now it's flowered. The lupins hold a lot of there's a lot of alkaloids in the plant when they're flowering. So I've missed the boat now, they've just started flowering, so we'll leave it till they finish flowering and they've set their pods. There'll be more nutrition in it then anyway. The radish will have probably just be flowering by then, I reckon. There's a few just starting to run to head. So I think by the time I graze the other crop we'll have a look at in a minute, time we graze that off and come back, this should be about ready to graze. So I think it'll work out okay. So I'm going to graze this off and then put some annual rye, some couple legumes, maybe some millet or sorghum or something, because it'll be warming up by then, so that should be able to put some warm season grasses in. So this should be ready for grazing by October, I reckon. But I'll graze it a bit sooner than I did this. I think I've found that this was too mature. The oats was too mature in this crop, and the trampling effect of the cattle has basically done what a crimper roller would do. It's killed it. So I don't think this is going to regrow very much. On a few strips where I didn't graze it as heavy, it is starting to regrow, so I probably overgrazed it. So there's something to learn there. Not grazing it as much if I want it to regrow, and grazing it early. I mean, it's going to seed, it's headed out and it's starting to get some milky dough in it, so it's probably at the point in its life cycle where if you do graze it, it's going to just give up. So this will be my spring crop paddock. I'll just let it regrow, and then probably in September, yeah, if it grows back well between now and then, I might graze it once more. But yeah, if it has regrown a fair bit and sort of run to seed again, I'll crimper roll it to kill it. Otherwise I'll probably kill it with salt, and then I'll plant probably 6 different crops in here, sort of develop our grain and pulse line. So I'll, yeah, just plant a small amount of each. Should get our first harvest in late this summer, obviously. So yeah, so that'll be the crop paddock, and this one will go back into something for grazing. But there are some monster radish in here. Trip over some of them, but it's come along really well. So anyway, we'll keep spraying a bit of nice goodness on it. So if you didn't hear before over the noise of the tractor, this is it's a Nutritech solution that I'm spraying on. Nutritech solution. It's called Nutri Gold. I think that product's discontinued. It's a drum that I've had in the shed for a while. It's called something else now. Black Gold, I think. Don't know. So I'm just using up this stuff, and I've left just enough to spray that paddock after the cattle come out. And yeah, so I'm using that product up, and then I'll be trialling a few more products from Nutritech and a couple other companies, so that'll be happening shortly. Right, I'm up here in the Lucerne paddock. If you remember, I grazed this off with the cattle about a month ago nearly. Let's just have a bit of a look. Got a lot of stalks sticking up. We've got Lucerne starting to grow in there. It's taken a while to start growing again, but it has been very cold, so it's not surprising. This is the most winter active Lucerne I have, but still its growth through winter isn't that great. It's a Sardi 7, so it's not the most winter active one there is. Yeah, got a lot of worm cast here. Just look at it all, heaps of it. It's fantastic. A lot of bare sore, which I don't like to see. But in Lucerne you sort of just get that because it doesn't, it's got its crowns and it doesn't spread out from there very much, so yeah. So that's the Lucerne. That should start growing away pretty quickly once we get a bit of warmer weather. So today's been pretty nice, and tomorrow's also pretty good. Sunday might be showering again in the afternoon, but it's yeah, it's supposed to be wet again next week, so thought I'd get on here and do a bit of spraying all I can. Righto, on to the next one. So now I'm up here on the lease block, and this is the Lucerne paddock. It's got a lot of clover in it also, which I think I showed in the last crop update video, which is fine by me. That's fine. This isn't destined to be a hay paddock anyway, so I'll actually be putting some oats into here tomorrow as well. Oversowing some oats and radish and a bit more clover into here. So this will be a bit of a salad bar paddock for grazing. Same as the other paddock, the Lucerne isn't growing very much because it is quite cool. Clover's doing better. Do a bit of a few aphids in here. Seem to have a lot of trouble with aphids. Not sure what the strategy will be going forward. Keep using the calcium, and hopefully once we get the soil back in balance and build a better environment for beneficials and plant health, then we won't have as much trouble with the aphids. crows. The trouble is, most of the crops I want to grow are quite tasty to aphids, so that'll be the challenge. Ideally I'd graze this first and then drill it, but I'm on a bit of a deadline with weather. It's tomorrow's the driest it'll be in a while, because it's gonna rain again Monday and for the next week, so and the cattle won't be up here until Monday, so we're a bit stuck there. So on the left here is the paddock that was spuds, which I've drilled. Crops just starting to emerge, but we've got a bit of a problem here with crows. They're descending on it now and hammering it. This farm is bad for crows. I'm not sure why, but I got a suspicion that they've got a nest around here somewhere. Crows are very territorial and they stick together as a family unit. So I've got a suspicion they've got a nest here in these trees or down the other gully. Because every time I plant something, do some drilling, the crows are just thick, descend upon it straight away. Whereas across there on the home farm, nah, never see a crow. So there's something that makes them stick around here. So I might see if I'll shoot one or two and hang them up on the fence. That tends to scare them off, so I'll have to do that, because I hopped out and had a look before, and yeah, they've got pea seeds hulled everywhere. They're a real nuisance. So this is the grazing crop that we have up here. We've got wheat, oats, tillage radish, turnip, peas, and clover. Again, like all the other crops, the clover hasn't really done very well. Probably too cold, it's just got shaded out underneath there. Clover might be something that only plant in the spring mixes, maybe spring summer. So it's fairly expensive seed, and it's not much chop just wasting it like that. So that's something I think I've learnt there. But the crop itself is just looking fantastic. It's, as you can see, nice and tall and lush. We'll start grazing this on Monday. Hopefully I don't get stuck here. It's pretty wet. Up by the highway, we don't want to see us get stuck. It should be right. Yeah, so we'll start grazing this on Monday, just three days away, and yeah, not too soon either, because we've got all these radish going to seed, and we don't want them to lose quality. We want to be able to eat them nicely. But I think I'll have to graze these a bit more lightly, a bit lighter. Don't graze them as hard. So I definitely want this stuff to come back. I want to kill it like I've kind of done to the other paddock, so it might not last them as long as the other crop has. That other paddock was 3.8 hectares, and that's lasted them, or it will have lasted them 26 days. So This paddock's 3.5, so maybe if we get 20 days out of it, we'll be doing well. I'm not sure, but could be more in here too. Could be more feed here, I'm not sure. So we will find out as we go. This is probably the most disappointing paddock I have at the moment. This is the autumn planted lucerne. So a year ago it was planted. Even the radish hasn't done real well here. The lucerne has been really badly hit by aphids. You can see here it's been badly damaged. It's still there. It's just a lot of the leaves, the windows in them. The radish, as you can see, is still very small. Hasn't developed very big tubers. And very poor colour. It is quite wet, heavy clay soil there just behind me. The radish is doing better here, red soil. Yeah. So the plan is to graze it off. Graze it off probably in about a month. And hopefully the lucerne will take off then, because it'll be a fair bit warmer. Hopefully it'll grow away well. Turnips are a lot better here. Not turnips, radish, got a lot better here. They're worse just over down that fence line where there's some fairly heavy wet soil. Changing these taps to rinse the sprayer out, but that'll be it for this video. I'll make another update when something else is happening. Thanks for watching.